welcome to my channel. Well, I have other knives that I can look at and stuff, new knives and stuff, but I wanted to just go over one thing, and that is why the Civivi Elementum is like my favorite flipper knife. And there's many reasons. Now, these are all other knives that I'd replace this one with. You know, if I wasn't carrying the Elementum or I didn't have it. The Spyderco Delica, the Boker Kalashnikov, and the Spyderco Sage 5. Now, this is the Civivi Elementum fixed blade, and we'll get into that one here in a second. But when I started getting back into knives, you know, as far as like buying knives more than just like a work knife, you know, I basically got hooked again. I blame YouTube on it, you know, because I never knew. I thought YouTube was just for music. I really did, you know. I was that naive. I didn't know, you know, that they had other things on YouTube. And I discovered that there were knife videos out there. Lots of knife videos. And one of the first persons I watched was Nick Shabazz, because he was funny and he covered a lot of knives, and he was always using a Spyderco Delica as a size comparison. And I went over why I didn't buy a Spyderco for the longest time, because of the shape. I looked at it and I went, man, what's the use of putting a big old hole in a blade, you know? I mean, come on. And I had never picked one up. I'd never used one. And the first time I did this and held it, I understood. It's ergonomics, man. It's not about looks, you know. This almost has that Spy versus Spy from the Mad magazines, you know, these little two like crows would be always going after each other, and they had a shape like this. This is a great knife. It's not a flipper knife, you know. I mean, yeah, it's functional. Well, at the time, you know, because like I said, when I grew up mostly in Texas in the early days, this thing would be considered like a switchblade or something. You know, I don't know. We didn't have flipper knives and stuff, but when they first started coming out, they were spring assisted. That was considered okay. Automatics weren't, but spring assisted was okay. And then eventually the whole barrier came down, and anything goes kind of knife. But I got into the whole, you know, craze, buying a bunch of different Gonzos, buying different, you know, things, because you can flick these, you know, like especially this one, you can Spidey flick it. And of course this one is an automatic, you know, so all I gotta do is push the button and bam, you know, it comes out. That's why I carry this one a lot, you know, it's just easy to use. One hand, bam, you don't have to figure, you know, how do I release it, what do I do? You see how that one needs to be clean, because it didn't lock up that time. If you get gunk in your, you know, like pocket lint and stuff like this, and it starts blocking this lockup, or that spring starts getting weak, you can get one of those, because you can open it like that, but to close it, you have to push the button. And you saw how that last time I didn't do that. Anyway, you have to do maintenance on stuff like that. This one you don't as much, you know. I carry this in a factory. You know, those washers work out much better for not carrying a lot of lint. This one works really well. The Elementum, you know, it's got ball bearings in there. You do have to clean it out every once in a while, but I've never had it malfunction. One of the things I really like about this, besides this just kind of plain Jane, you know, it's just functional, is this forward finger choil situation right here. The way they set this up, you're not sacrificing a lot of blade length, but you're still getting a comfortable rest. Now, they did the same thing with the Elementum fixed blade. They left that on there, and I really like that on this. Some people say, well, why'd you have that on there? Because when you're up like this, whatever you're cutting is, once it makes it past your finger, it's going to cut right on there. It's not going to get hung up if you had a big old sharpening choil in there, you know, because, I mean, a lot of times you're cutting all the way to the end. But if you're holding it like this, and you got finger choil, this is what I wish the Elementum would be in a folder. Of course, I've said that many times before. I don't know why they take a design that's so popular and everything, and yeah, it's under the 3-inch, you know, or whatever, but not everybody is restricted. I think this one is a little bit over. I don't know where I dropped my ruler. Oh, here it is. Not everybody has this 3-inch law, you know, and you can still make the, yeah, see, 3-inch. You can still make the Elementum. All you got to do is upsize this thing. It's almost like I'm the only person that notices this. Would be the perfect thing for the Elementum. Now I know, yeah, you've got the button lock and everything. That's fine, but you only have one deployment method with the button lock. Yeah, if you master it, it's great and everything, but you don't have a flipper. Really, it's fairly simple. You can just take it on a program and say enlarge, you know, and then produce that. And I guarantee you're going to have at least one sale. I guarantee you. Elementum, Civivi, if you're listening to me. And if you're going to call it you can call it a larger Elementum or everything, but I think that large Elementum, or L Elementum, see, EL or L, either one, you know, big, large L or EL. I think L Elementum gives it kind of a Spanish flair. But anyways, it's flat, it's compact, it's unassuming, you know, yeah, it's not a super spectacular thing. This one happens to be in S35 VN steel. Let's see if we can zoom up here. 2X? Do we want to go 2X? See it right there. S35 VN. I like S35 being a little bit better than D2. D2's alright in there. I hadn't had any problem with theirs, except that I think S35 VN is stainless, D2 is not, so it's got one thing going for it. I don't know. This is just a super sharp little knife and everything. So when I'm not carrying it or a good backup to it, and of course this is just a plain old, you know, this one happens to be in D2, but it's got that coating on it which helps it against corrosion and stuff. It doesn't have the forward finger choil and everything, but I mean, this is a good, you know, it look, again, kind of like the Elementum, you know, shape and style, except in a back lock, you know. I usually carry that one with me. So the 3.5-inch or 3-inch size blade and everything is a fine thing. I carry, you know, a range of knives. So besides this, I'll have a bigger knife, something larger than 4 or 5 inches, you know, on me, and I'll have a smaller knife also. So, you know, I usually carry too many knives, but I just wanted to say that any of these knives are going to be fine, you know, for your task, and you're going to find something that works perfect for you. This one happens to be in ZDP 189, I think. Did you focus down there? This camera. I guess we'll have to get it closer to here, camera. Look over here. Yeah, I think we can see it. This one's Seki City, Japan. They discontinued using the steel, so I have the Endura and, of course, the Delica, but I didn't get the Dragonfly. They're still kind of available out there. They're just, you know, harder to find and go at a higher price. But yeah, really, if you just took this thing and put a pivot and a liner lock into it, you're going to have, to me, for me, you would have the perfect complement to the Elementum. Because you still don't have a super long blade, but you got like 4 inches. 4-inch blades, alright, you know. They could even make it 5 inches. Go all cold steel. Make it, you know, super huge. I like cold steel. Alright, so yeah, there you go. That's my little short take on the Elementum was so good, it got me out of the flipper phase and back into traditional. I mean, because after that I said, you know what? This will do, actually any of these will do everything I need a knife to do. This one is if you like the flip. I think I don't do it so much as just to do this anymore. It's just a fairly easy deployment method. Of course, I've got like cold steel Finn Wolf, you know, that's just thumb stud deploy, but it's got a stronger lock. You know, it's got the triad lock in it, and it's a Puko, you know, kind of design with the zero, a Scandi grind. I mean, it's the zero bevel, you know, flat. That's really good for woodworking. So that would take a place of any of these if that wasn't carrying it. But I tend to just go right back to this one. You know, I try to give other knives rotation time and everything, but with all the knives I got, I always come back to the Elementum in this size category. I have, like I said, replacements, other ones that'll, you know, can fill in the gap if I want to, you know, just get a little change of pace and try. This is an excellent cutter. I mean, this thing will cut stuff like crazy. So this is another excellent worker. This one, the D2 in it is, I don't think is as good as like ZDP 189 or this S30V. Just my personal opinion. It's sharp and everything. I resharpened it. I didn't put the finger choil, or I mean the sharpening choil in there, but I did reprofile it, and it's pretty sharp. But it's not. I can just tell in cutting, it's just not as sharp. And you see this button pushed in? You know what that means? That this one didn't lock. See, this one needs some maintenance because you shouldn't be able to do that. See, this one needs some cleaning. Even though it snapped out. If that button stays in, you're not locked. See? I had to snap it all the way up. That's kind of dangerous because in automatic you're thinking, all right, this thing's, you know, damn, it's deployed and it's locked. And you get your fingers down here. And then you go to do something. And, you still have that, you know, protective thing. If you've got your fingers all the way up here, you should be all right. But if you're doing something from back here, we're going over a little safety class here. What to do if your button doesn't deploy. Button deployed that time. Dang it. There we go. Let's see, it's recessed. All right, so if you got your finger back here, it should be a 3-finger thing. This guy's gonna regret that. Oh my gosh. Oh, you're gonna regret sharpening your knife. Oh, right behind the knuckle, man. Real good guillotine. If you were doing something like that and pulling back, and it got stuck, oh yeah, and you were holding it like that, yeah, you're doomed. You're gonna get cut. You're gonna bleed. So we'll leave that guy there for maintenance. Anyways, there you go. That's my little quick, wasn't that quick, take on why I love the Elementum, why it works out perfectly for all the cutting tasks that I need during the day most of the time. Yeah, I can use a bigger knife. Ooh, I just cut back of my thumbnail with that. I could use a bigger knife, you know, for like larger chores and everything, but I found throughout the day that this will do everything that I need a knife to do. From cutting plastic to cutting wood to, you know, cutting zombie steaks. You know, it'll feather stick if you need a feather stick, you know. It's just a perfect size, you know, knife. It doesn't have a super fancy blade shape and everything, but I love a drop point, man. It does everything. It can do everything. Yeah, it's not perfect at everything, but it can do everything. There you go. You know, I haven't said the praise to Civivi Elementum for a while, but you know, after years of carrying a knife and you find something you like, I tend to stick with it. You know, I've never had this one fail, and it's been full of blint. You know, but good lockup. Detent's perfect on this one. I told you I did have one Elementum in D2, the blue one, that the detent was. It could fail. You could, if you tried to light switch it like this, it would fail. And if you try to push button, I don't think this one will, no, this one will kind of push button. It would fail on either one of those. And that's nothing worse than, it's just like this. It's just pathetic, you know. And this is probably just because of maintenance on my part, you know. That's just the design of the knife. There's a little spring here, and there's tension because of a coil spring in here. So when you push this, ooh, bam. If that recess in there is not clean enough, or the spring is weak, see, there's a spring also that pushes this thing over here, makes it want to go this way. And if there's anything that gets in there, and this comes up, we're troubleshooting right now, locked in. Yeah, maybe got to recock it. Make a fool out of me. Anyways, yeah, sometimes you can drop lube in there, but lube will attract lint and stuff. So, yeah, you just gotta check your knives every so often, which I don't do enough of. There you go. Sorry for dragging this along. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.